Well, just a few days after the Republican National Committee ended up there in Boston, it was a summer meeting, a picture of the Republicans' 2016 race is now emerging, with the claws already coming out within the party. Sean Spicer is the communications director for the Republican National Committee and judge that. Sean, you're a pro like I used to be. You know the business. So let's talk about politics generally. And both parties are very similar this way. It seems like most politicians want to win. And so every general election, every 4 years for president, every 8 years, depending on who's in, they say, let's try to get our act together and win this damn thing. And so they move to the center by November. That's the idea. Get to the center. Get to where the votes are, where the money is. And yet every once in a while, the political parties say to themselves, you know what? This one's for the team. We're going to win this one or we're going to lose this thing, but we're going to be ourselves. It happened in '64 with Goldwater winning and taking over the Republican convention out at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. It happened with the Democrat liberals back in the anti-war era of 1972 with McGovern. They said, this isn't about winning, it's about being who we are. It happened in '80 with Reagan. They finally won the right. It happened with the liberals in the Democratic Party with, you might say, a little more sophisticated here, but with Obama winning by 2008. I believe, and this is just as a political mechanic studying this, that for your party, this time coming up 2016 is one of those volcanic years where you say, the hell with the odds, we got to face Hillary probably, it's going to be a tough year anyway, we're going with our gut, it's going to be somebody from the right. That's my belief, and that's why I think it's going to be Rand Paul. Do you think it's one of those volcanic years when the party does what it feels like doing, or is it one of those regular years where they get to the center somehow?
Well, for the first time in a lot of years, we don't have that the guy in line waiting. You know, there's always, it was Senator Dole for a while, and then it was so-and-so's turn. I think we've got a wide group of folks out there that are all young, have been out there governing states in the Senate one term, who are sort of dynamic and fresh and have new ideas. So I think it can be both, because we have all of the people that are potential candidates in 2016 have that fresh, dynamic look that we haven't seen in previous cycles.
But what's the party gut going to be? I mean, are you going to show your gut, or are you going to go with what you think sells? For example, if you look at the polling data, and admittedly it's very early, Christie's got it. I mean, Christie looks like the one guy that can knock off Hillary. If you look at that same polling data, it looks like the guy who's really got the gut right now, the guy who won the big filibuster fight, who looked really good on the right, who really came out of nowhere out of Kentucky, the guy who seems to be with it as well as Ted Cruz, that libertarian right doesn't look as good in the polls. But you think, what are you saying? Is it going to be the gut, or is it going to be the mind?
Well, Chris, I look back at 2008, and I think a lot of us said there's no way Hillary Clinton can lose. She's got the mechanics, the institutional campaign structure that was provided by her husband, and you had this upstart one-term, not even first-term senator who ended up beating her, because I think he ran a good campaign and he spoke to his base and to a wider base. I think right now our job at the RNC is to prep the field, to get our digital and data operation up, to get our ground game out there, put minority engagement staff throughout the country so that we're building relationships, and then let our grassroots go through this primary system and figure out who our strongest candidate is, and let the grassroots decide, as opposed to having Washington kind of come down and tell them who the right guy is.
Sean, I just have to interject a personal note. Your wife, Rebecca, actually used to work with me at Channel 7, ABC 7 here in Washington, D.C., as one of my producers. So it feels really interesting to be here next to Chris, co-hosting today, and talking to you. I just want you, Sean, to kind of give me a sense of sort of the things besides getting your ground game and your media game and your social media game together, the kind of things that you think the party really came out of Boston saying, we've got to do differently than we did with the Romney campaign this past year. What are the things that you learned from that campaign that will change the way you approach the next presidential election?
That's a great question, Kathleen, and again, I would echo your sentiments. I think Rebecca did great at Channel 7 and has gone on to do fantastic things, and we're both very proud of her. But with respect to Boston, what we did is we looked after the election. Everyone knows we did this massive report. We realized that we were measuring ourselves against ourselves, and we've got to do better than that. Obama ran a great year-round campaign, so we instituted a year-round campaign. We've got more staff out in the field throughout the states in America than we've ever had in the history of the RNC. We've gotten by in digital up 2000, 2004. We were at the forefront of micro-targeting and that, and then we let it go. We're getting back in that game, and we're going to leapfrog the Democrats when it comes to digital and technology. And we're putting the resources out there to make sure that we've got this operation to hand off to our candidate in 2016. But more importantly, that we're going to be able to do that not just in 2014, but up and down the ballot through every race. So whether or not you're running for city council, state representative, mayor, lieutenant governor, governor, or eventually president, the party structure and infrastructure that we're building now will benefit our entire team. And that is in sharp contrast to your next guest, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Right now, they're staring themselves down the hole of $20 million in debt, and everything that they used to do has now been outsourced to OFA, which is going to give us a tremendous advantage going into not just 2014, but 2016.
Okay, one point you missed, I think, is that Hillary Clinton lost the nomination to Barack Obama because of a policy question, which was Iraq. And he, fortunately for him, managed to stake out a position against that war, and she held through with her position supporting it. And that is going to be an issue she has to deal with in the future. Anyway, thank you, Sean Spicer, and thanks for joining us. Great to have you on the show right now.